Yeah. Should have threatened.
Oh, I'm sorry. He usually passes me by. I wondered why he's taking. But I tell him, I was telling the, we stopped and spent the night last night. I said, Pat is always taking these pictures, and he's in none.
I know. I know.
I got you.
Well, I'm glad.
Very secret.
Yeah. First someone else for him. I was up working in Kansas. I used to go for him. So what happened? I went down to see what it was. They had a
Something to eat all the time. There you are. Something to eat all the time. Yeah, I got the light on you, girl.
Well, remember.
We hadn't been
My son my daughter is
got that light over.
Was that? There was one of four.
I didn't know they lived in. That's been a while ago now.
You know, my son was in that one in San Francisco, and he said all four of them slept in the king bed after that. You know, they just,
We've been sleeping in our motorhome ever since.
Yes, sir.
This is Dorothy Pike, Bob Pike.
hello.
Remember Bob, and that's been a long time.
And that's Claudia Monte.
Hello.
Bob knew what.
Hi, Bob.
And that's Mary Miller.
I know Joe. Remember Joe? I don't think I know him now, but.
Helen Brown.
Earl's one.
Chief Petty Officer of the Command. Well, before 11.
51.
I don't play cards.
Did you want to after work when you were chief? Chief, or did you do supervisor?
John.
Pull up the
I
chair.
love getting quiet. I think you're getting hungry.
Bill, John Heil, anything, they must have misplaced it or something of that kind. And they just didn't have anything to him. So actually, they turned around and got Kansas Square.
Hey, Mr. Cox.
Oh, hi! I thought somebody was putting a smile on How you doing?
Where's this thing? Go in.
You gotta bear with me a little bit.
I think it's okay.
How are you?
Hey, this is the way we keep check on, see how drunk they get. We put it on record.
I like your video.
Yeah, because he was dead. I'm telling you, I think Roxy is. Do that, Bob. Yeah. You know, when I came in this room, you gotta realize a lot of.
We don't really need anything other than.
A lot of.
You're not far.
Oh, pardon me, I didn't mean to.
I'm seeing how drunk they get. No, you're not in my way out. If you are, I'll take you
A
fishing.
little bit dark. And I tell you,
Everybody want Kentucky Fried Chicken?
I want some wings.
You want wings?
Tells me he had enough chicken to avoid the LST.
There's about 20 some of us.
Don't go out.
They can pay it, they can't raise it, they can't have any cattle. And they'll pay them for not doing it.
Well, they're talking about getting away from some of that stuff.
Yeah, well, they're really gonna have to.
Hey, Quentin, your wife wants me to document whether you are drunk or sober. I'm gonna put it on tape. You're drunk?
Yeah.
How you tell?
Huh?
How do you tell?
Great.
They saw their herd and the base goes with it. But when they got too much milk, the government come along and bought the base and the cattle from the people, give them the money, kill the cows.
Was that Florida?
Florida, yeah.
Was that Florida did that?
There you go.
Did they do that in Florida? Is that what he's talking about, Florida?
Yeah, that's Florida. They
Okay.
did that all over the country. Now they hardly any dairy farms.
They don't want anybody to work in the farm.
Right.
You don't have to drive.
They don't want anybody to work in the farm.
A word, if you know they're right.
First time Becky hadn't been eating since we've been here.
Dry clean? Hey, Leslie, I ain't gonna work anymore.
Well, in 30 minutes,
I
she's
am.
got
I'm
that
starting
glass
down to
gone.
church today and she's been there ever since.
Pays too much on me. Don't think he didn't jump, burn the light out now.
Is it ready? I've got my hand on the
You don't have to hold it.
Oh, I don't? You didn't tell me that. We've had this thing for 4 years and I ain't never run it.
Hey, take over
I am.
You gotta look.
I am. But when I push it, I don't have to keep my finger on it. What happens if I do? Okay. You may never get the camera back.
In minutes, he's pretty south.
Well, you just got them, didn't you?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, that was
See who's telling the biggest lie over there.
Oh, it froze. We were up in Japan.
No.
Our way to Europe. North Atlantic. I don't think you could have won with it.
That's on the chin that's after run. Cut it off, honey. Punch it. Just punch it.
Red.
I know it. Give us the recipe, kid. Oh, I was worried. Don't worry. Lack of worry.
So I'm going.
Tell a lie. Tell a lie.
So did you find your credit card?
Tell us a Yankee horse story.
I have trouble with geography. It's stuttering on me. Comment is on my back, and I don't know what to do. I really don't.
Hey, you said a while ago your wife said you was leaving.
Remember you when I'm using that sandpaper, man.
Oh, you used that sandpaper. We got more. You know that's too much light.
You need all that. Put on the rock. Right. Show that little bit. There's Howard in his natural thing.
What are you doing?
With this computer on,
Showing his picture.
It's pepperoni.
Pepperoni, is that okay?
But then that's raisins in there, Howard. Don't you? No, but don't you guys, did you get any of the bread that had raisins in it?
Yeah.
That's green.
Remember that? Remember that?
All right, Howard. Oh, no, that's
No, it's pepperoni.
No, but there was just talking about this bread that he made.
And he was a baker, became the baker. And the black.
Oh, what they used to do in the first week, you know, you take the weed stuff. You know, you don't have any things right away. You know, about the third week, you know. You take the weeds down to the rest. So you got to the fourth week, you take the weeds down to the Thanks for dessert.
That's the reason.
They're about to wrap it up. They're going to bed. There they are. They're about headed. Room, which is up here. Like the long situation. I'll take you up the stairs here and show you John's room as we go up the stairs. Yeah, John's gonna get drunk and fall out from the balcony. You hear? Here's John and his wife's room. It's over here and there at the balcony, going downstairs to the hospitality room. Now, John, how did you do that? Hey guys. Hey, put a hat on you. I can't make a picture with that head shining.
You're all done to shoot for that thing somebody.
So, I mean, you know, we went to class, she just gave us, you know, these things, tell us what we need. And, you know, but they're pretty much.
Oh, God.
Where's Becky? She eating?
He went out in the hallway. He got dressed and went out.
But anyhow,
Yeah, he's pretty good shape this morning. Morning he didn't have a bottle yet. Screaming color. Now, here we go.
Okay.
Y'all gonna talk to the camera?
No.
You ain't gonna talk to it? Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Are you girls local or are you just traveling through town?
We're local.
You're local ladies. All right.
Local ladies, that's us.
That's good.
I won't be able to get out.
Hey,
He's not gonna be in it, he won't let me do it.
well, I am when I get through.
oh yeah.
I want to be sure and get a picture.
But you won't be in it.
All you got to do,
You better get in it.
His whistle.
all you got to do is hold it on them. It's taken.
Oh, it's taken now?
Taken right now. Check it out.
It's taken now. Fell off the floor.
Also recorded.
Take your hat off, Pat.
Why?
Everybody else has got theirs off.
Everybody out there.
Okay, how long you want me to do it?
You through.
As long as you can.
That's about all we can do is think about it.
I got to get the knee.
Buffalo's got a pretty good team.
Oh, it was made in Cincinnati by the Rookwood Pottery Company, which existed here from 1880 until 1940. And they made not only pottery pots, but they made beautiful decorative tiles for buildings. And I love this example here on this clothing store.
Yeah. This building back
You're
here.
going to notice a lot of very nice shopping along here. Department store on the left, combination, hotel, retail stores, offices, and parking garage. That was the new idea in 1930. I'm operating today, but if any of you ever saw the TV show WKRP in Cincinnati, they used to show that fountain at the beginning of the show. And it's particularly appropriate that we have a piece piece of water sculpture here as the centerpiece for downtown. But of course, water transportation was the art on the square for a week. We had something. This is our theater where the traveling Broadway shows come, and other entertainment. We had the ballet dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov coming here next week. And on the left, of this office building here.
Yeah. Is it brass hanging in the window?
Yeah.
The Inquirer was the first newspaper in the country here to print a Sunday paper. We take Sunday papers for granted. It has the largest circulation of any library in the country. At about 500 years before Christ. Doesn't it? And two wonderful buildings in the next block. My favorite is the one over here on your left. This is the Plum Street Temple. This was the first Reformed Jewish temple built anywhere in the world. Reformed Judaism was founded in Cincinnati by Rabbi Isaac Mayer Wise, and he built the first temple, which is this one you see on the left, completed in 18... I love this one on the corner here, the law office. Very pretty old home.
We've got it. No, I don't believe it. It's interesting to see what some of these guys done all these years, isn't it? I don't know why lawyers charge us so much.
Is this multiple dwellings or are they single family?
Period of 4 years, working at the forerunner to our Natural History Museum, stuffing birds and animals there for display. And he often said that part of what made him such an accurate painter of birds was that opportunity to observe them up close when he was working here, stuffing them. Looking across the Cincinnati side, of course, very obvious, a new bridge that's being built there. You see Mount Adams in the distance. Look across and you see the Showboat Majestic at the public landing in front of our Coliseum there, the red and white boat. You can straighten up, just pull up a little bit more. You don't need to back up, but just want people to be able to see there away from the trees. The Showboat is the only original showboat left on any of the rivers in the theater department, and they have shows on board during the 5 warm weather months of the year. A month ago, the river was up within a foot of the sidewalk on your right here. The normal level for the river in the Cincinnati area is about 26 feet. Flood stage is 52, and it was up to 52 of a man, James. On your left in the park there is Mary Green, the only woman ever licensed to be a riverboat pilot. It was her husband who started the Delta Queen Steamship Company, and after he died, she continued to operate a steamboat company. Her children were all born above the steamboat and reared called the Queen City, but it refers to a time in our history when grapes were grown on the hillside, types. We made the first sparkling champagne we have ever had in Cincinnati was in 1937, when the river level was up to 80 feet. Now, as I told you, 59 is the deepest it gets now, so it was actually 21 feet higher. 80 feet is the mark that you can see, not where the driftwood is, but below that, just at the top of the green shrubbery, you see that line that goes around the column. That's how high the water was in 1937. Very expensive today, and totally renovated. You'll see the old music hall straight back. You see the red building with the round rose window, and directly behind that is Union Terminal, where we stopped, the old railroad station. You see the half-dome building. And then the Western Hills on the west side of town. You notice that downtown is really basically shaped like a soup bowl, with the city is the reflecting pool over here on the right is kept shallow so that it will freeze quickly in the wintertime for ice skating. And they post a sign there when the water is, the ice is hard enough to ice skate, say forth. Very pretty.
Yeah, that's where we were the other day.
You notice a barge down on the right. Well, you can't see it now, but you could just a minute ago. It's interesting, I think, that in Cincinnati we have more traffic going by the Ohio River in a year's time than goes through the Panama and Suez canals combined.
Right there, ain't that good? I remember the name very well, but I just couldn't
he got married and he came to Niagara Falls for his honeymoon. I was only married myself. But I forgot how it worked.
Which one of you guys? Was it you that was working out?
That was him. No, that was him. That's the principal. Then the Marine guy stepped up. He went up there. They were the guys stepped up.
Yeah. No, you were take it. Is it light enough, dark enough?
In our plane.
Joe won't leave his hands still.
Yeah. Oh, look, there it is. It might have stopped. It must have stopped. It did.
Where was this? Oh, that was, yeah, you know,
What that was?
Some places have to use it.
Huh?
Sometimes.
What happened? I've noticed that I got a picture of the 494 when she was.
Have you been kicked out of the Gabindo family yet?
And they had taken off. Yeah, that's probably why you got
Get light on that side.
Oh, you good looking people here.
Hey, Neil, you can get that stuff in the keg. It's that's like Coca-Cola in there.
phone control.
Everybody's getting all fun and you get all beer.
Yeah.
Hey, you still got a half a cup.
Yeah, we're doing good on
Got
this.
real easy.
Sneak it out, girl.
Please, what are we
We'll
on?
go back to the East
Bob, you're our kid.
We'll go back to the East Coast. It's a long flight, but
Becky's not eating. What come, Becky?
Take 3 hours by car, hour and 45
What
hours
you
by
drink?
plane, doing 500 miles an hour.
All right, there goes your wife.
I need great bars.
Over here.
what time we going to church?
the same guy?
Must have been.
I'll check.
You're in the spot.
I don't know, you want me to sing?
Yeah.
But it looked like a field.
Right here, 120. I've done this at your was it non-stop? Yeah, non-stop.
Hey, Shife, you're in good shape. You're in good shape.
It wasn't too bad, no. There was lots of seats in there.
You're in good shape.
It was on its way to New York.
Should have a beer, they said.
That's what. I can't hear nothing.
Back.
I can't hear nothing. Everybody gets quiet when they get a camera.
Yeah.
Hi, y'all.
University of North Carolina.
Candid camera.
You gotta go up on the balcony.
That's too far. That's too far. There you go.
Sit over the side.
I didn't have it on. I didn't have my receipt. These women trying to make up their mind what they're not going to do and do. I think they're running out of money.
You get close, you cut them.
Well, the best thing is Becky's not eating. Every time I take her picture, she's eating.
Go back.
What's she talking about?
Oh, wow.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. Biggest guy.
White powder.
There you are.
Now I'll take it. There's Mr. Richard. There's them legs. I gotta take some out here to food. That's pretty good.
Jersey, New York. Atlantic City, right?
The cashier is short.
It's come to in reverse.
Short changing everybody.
Oh,
Oh, Joe got short change.
It's being
Give me
put
a
on
dollar.
record, Bob. It's
Give me
being
a
put
dollar.
on record now. Put it on
how
film.
much we got now? We should have,
Right up.
this should have $32. We should have.
Go ahead, sir. You gonna hurt.
Mrs. Helen and Earl Brown from Pennsylvania and Delaware. We're here at our 4th annual LST 494 reunion.
And we're having a good time.
Bertha Robbins from Citrus Spring, Florida.
I'm Sharafa. I'm glad to be here with all my shipmates. I'm from Verona, New Jersey. I wish everyone a healthy, happy trip back home.
I'm Joseph Alfano from New Jersey also. I want to say hi and nice to be with all my shipmates again.
To tell you what her name is?
Yeah.
My name is Richard Brown and her name is Catherine. And we're from Evergreen, Alabama. And we're happy to be here with the LST 494. Right. Regan. Do that when I get up.
What's your name?
Huh?
Give me your name.
My name is Joe Hall. This is my wife, Meg.
Where are you from, Joe?
Morehead City, North Carolina.
Right.
Davis from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Right. What's your wife's name?
Listen.
Leslie. Baton Rouge. You're not a Cajun, are you?
No.
Not Who are y'all?
Tex.
Who are you?
You tell us who you are.
He doesn't know.
Who are you?
Oh, no way. Who are you?
Give your name and where you from, please.
Oh, okay. Quinn Jike from Norfolk, Virginia.
Now, what's your better half name?
My wife, Ruth.
Yeah. Wife Ruth.
Eddie, huh? Bob Pike from Hermitage, PA, and this is my wife, Dorothy.
I'm Wally Knox, Tucson, Arizona. Having a great time.
I love coming to the reunion.
Do that again. I didn't get that first part.
Do it again.
I love coming to the reunions because I enjoy seeing everybody and meeting all the shipmates of Irving's crew. And he says I do all the talking, so that's why I'm doing it. I'm Jean Cox, and this is Kenny Cox, my husband from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
I'm Joe Garena. This is Della Graves, my wife, from the gunnery office of the Ocean 494.
Where are you from?
Wonderful. We're from Houston, Texas, and just happy to be here. Having a wonderful time.
You are?
This is Claire Seidenfeld from Fort Thomas, Kentucky. I'm John Isle. This is Rita Isle, my wife. Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, you got to say when.
When?
When.
Nice to have you here.
Robert Newbow.
What's your name?
Betty
Where y'all from?
Wisconsin, Dells, Wisconsin.
All right, I see the red light is on. That means we're on camera.
That's right.
My name is Dick Monty.
And I'm Claudia
My
Monty.
wife, Claudia Monty. And we're from Granada Hills, California.
San Fernando Valley, God's
Fernando
country.
Valley, Los Okay. Ricky Cassisi.
Okay.
Right to New Hampshire.
Right. Pat Sykes and Becky Sykes, North Carolina. Thomas, North Carolina.
Okay.
Y'all, where y'all from?
We're all from Lakeland, Florida.
Who are y'all?
Howard Buell.
And Helen.
Helen Lamore.
That's good.
From Holly, California.
What's your wife's name?
Pardon?
What's your wife's name?
Mary.
Mary.
Hi, I'm Thomas Seeley, Raybars. Glad to be here. A very nice time we've had.
I'm Ray Barcy from Upton, New York. I'm from the Signal Boulevard of 494, and I'm going to have all these pictures developed and charging $10 a piece. Other than that, we've had a wonderful time, great company, and we're waiting for it to wait.
Where was it?
Where are you?
With the navigator.
What's the matter with you? Too much sun, you're gonna put the light out on this thing. I just go out there and make the pictures, take it home and look at it. I'm laughing at it. We've got this thing going. Was that sound any good on this table? Mine's pretty.
But the first one we were at, he was saying remarks from here.
It's nice to be attacked.
He said, I got this balloon, and he, and how did you know that?
Trying to figure it out. Well,
You didn't know our car, you didn't know how you didn't know. You just knew it was your
First of all, I would like to hear Mr. Willie Knox say a few words.
What? Let's say he said this.
Say a few words, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go get him, Tiger.
Hey, fellas, you were all kind of, can you hear me? Mike, Denny? Yes. Good. You all kind of homesick after eating that meal? Well, for the benefit of you women, that's the kind of meals we served on LST 494. Thanks to the supply officer. I've got to tell you an experience that occurred yesterday on the little tour. Julie, the tour guide director, said, after a while, she said, what the hell is going on in the back of the bus? She said, there's a person back there. She says, I'm getting teed off about that. You know, I make 3 of these tours every week. And I said, oh, no, that's the navigator. I said, he's all teed off because he's not navigating. Well, on the subject of navigation, I got to tell you, when we were all down in New Orleans, headed out to find Panama City, we spent some 3 days. Evidently, the sextant wasn't working too effectively. But Joe and I talked to one another and said, "Say, we've got some problems." You know, and he said, I said, "Yes, we have." He said, "You know, I'm not much of a swimmer, and down in Houston, we don't have cold weather." He said, I tell you, we get up there in that darn North Atlantic, and I'm afraid that navigator's going to get us out in the water and have us circle around, and we'll never find land. Now, I said, Joe, now, slow down a little bit, cool down. We cannot afford to let this get to the crew. We can't panic. I said, I know you and I are deeply concerned, but don't panic. Keep calm. Don't let the crew know we're concerned. And I said, you remember Columbus, don't you? Oh, Joe says, yeah, I do. And he said, you know, that's a long, long time ago. But anyway, the old navigator wasn't all that bad. I want to first say thank you to John Heil, to Rita Heil, who put this together and did all the planning.
Here.
Thank you. And I want to say something to Earl Brown, Artfield, who had the foresight to, with the initiative, to establish the USS 494 Association. Thank you, Earl, and give us our thanks to Artfield also. And to you, Clara Seidenfaden, so nice to become acquainted with you. I just want you to know your husband served with great distinction aboard the 494. We were extremely proud of him, and we're all happy that you're here tonight to be with us. You're a part of this family, and you always will be.
Thank you very much, John.
You know, before... Oh, hi, John. Oh, you said just your words. Takes me a while to get up. You rattle. You know, before coming here, I began to think, what am I going to see when I get there? Am I going to see fellows that have grown very old-looking, very heavy, very thin, use of hearing aids, some maybe But you know, I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. As I look out over here, I see nothing but 22 very handsome men.
What's that again?
That I'm very, very proud of. I see a man that had courage, had faith, had loyalty, and had love for the old United States. God bless you all.
I wish I was that tall, so I didn't have to move this mic. I'd like also to hear a word or two from, mark my words, Joe, I'm going to hold you to that. Joe Garino, our gunnery officer and judge from Houston, Texas.
No political speech now, Joe.
I'm gonna get some fitting on this one. First, I'm going to agree with everything Willie Knox said. It's just great to see him here. He and Newbar, I didn't know they were still around, but it's a thrill.
We were delinquent with IRS.
I was worried about that. You worked with IDS, I heard. No, I want to just say a few words. First, of course, thank again John and Rita for the wonderful party they put together. This is hard work. I guarantee you. If I told John and Rita they had to do this again next year, they'd drop dead. But you don't, John. But thank you very, very much. It's a wonderful job, what they did. To me, it's a personal pleasure, a real honor, and I know it is to each of you. If you feel like I do, I couldn't wait to get here. We took a long trip, and I told my wife, I won't miss that reunion, because it became a part of us, a part of me. As a young kid over there fighting a war, and thank God that all of us were so dumb and so young, we didn't know any better. We had no fear. So we're just too young and dumb to know what was going on. It's like Art Beale said, Mr. Greene, you didn't get battle fatigue. I said, oh, I was too young and too dumb to get battle fatigue. I didn't know anything about it. But it was a tough go. We were blessed in that we went over, and that the captain brought us back. There's no joking about that. Somebody's got to be the leader and the captain, and he brought us back. And as you all know, we went through some tough deals, some close deals, including just uncalled for storms, things that we hadn't even looked for. But we thank the captain, of course, for bringing us back home. Little did our wives know, most of us, I wasn't mad. My wife probably mad at him for bringing him back. We all started new lives. I had forgotten about the 494 having a group like this. I found out about it sitting in the doctor's office, reading an American Legion magazine, where Art Beale had put an advertisement in the thing asking for contacting anyone who was on the LST 494. I almost fell out of the chair when I read that. And then I contacted him, and that's how I ended up coming back here with the group. I can assure you it's a personal thrill to be back with the people that I serve with. It's a special camaraderie that you don't have in anything else we do. Who else have I ever been under fire and shot at? Ate the food I ate, the Willie Knox furnace. Got off at sea on the Blue Pirate navigation deal. Well, we went through some tough times, but we did it together. That's wonderful. And today we saw a little deal, a movie, at the Cincinnati Museum, and they were celebrating D-Day. It was a movie about D-Day. And the movie ended, it showed the American soldiers and sailors that were killed, a great number of them. I can assure you there were plenty. And it said, somebody was saying it translated for him, and said that these young Americans came to die in Normandy for our freedom, and they don't even know who we are, which was true.
this was a deal we saw today at the museum. And it kind of hit hard. But I want to say again that you're all my buddies. We're all buddies together. We went through it together. And it's one of the proudest things of my life, I can assure you. My children know it. Remember the old battleship Texas that started shooting behind us and blew the helmets off? They sit right there saying it's in the battleground right outside Houston. I took my children, Mike, who's now district attorney at 44, they were about this tall. I brought them out there and I said, you see that ship, fellas? That ship probably saved your daddy's life. I get up there and salute it and let's go over and look at it. And they're bringing their kids over there. Tell them about their grandpa going over there. It is really something that we can all be proud of, the fact that we went through this. And thank our Almighty God that we came back, because we know how many didn't come back. My wife and I had the pleasure of going to Paris and over to the cemetery at Omaha Beach and revisiting Omaha Beach about 4 years ago. I want to tell you, you can call the cemetery beautiful. It is beautiful. And it brought tears to my eyes. I found the place we landed. And the guns that were shooting at us on the opposite side where we were. And it brought tears to my eyes, and I looked at my wife and I said, let's have one drink and go back to Paris and spend what little money we've got left. And we did. Now, I want to say this, that my son, I won't take any other time, Mike was with me in Baltimore. He had a wonderful time. He takes the world with John Howell, the captain, and all of you that were there. But Mike said, I know the captain's got a cap and all of that, but would you do me a favor, Dad? Would you bring this cap to Captain Norris, tell him that I sent it to him, and tell him that all the men on the 494 want to give it to him. I said, well, why did you give me a cap like that? He said, because you weren't captain. Captain, I got a cap for you. It's got a little gold on it. I know you got one, but I don't know if you got all that gold on it like that. It looks pretty nice. Gentlemen, thank you for your friendship, your kindness, and being with me and bringing me back home.
Before asking Captain Lloyd to say a few words, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. Each and every one. Believe me. Captain Lloyd, would you like to, I know you want to say something. Come on.
I'd like to take a few minutes to remember those men who are no longer with us. I'd like to read their names. Of course, William Seidenfaden, we're very glad to have his wife here. Louis Colodner, Elwin Brown, Cyril Reed, John Byrne, John Sharkey, Edward Guthrie, Paul Durstein, Bruce Bennett, Stanley Perez, Clifford Hudson, Eugene Hollins, Michael Baroni, Max Mutenko, Joseph Brown, John Maloney, John Peter, Peter Triano, and Jack Protocol. And also, I'd like to thank you so much for making my son Michael an honorary member of the LST 494. He died last July, but he was in Austin when he took sick. And a couple of months before he died, and he knew that he was a member of the LST 494, I was down there and I took this hat down and I gave it to him. And he wore it until he came home to die. I'm going to retire this hat now and wear this. Get a roll of it. I think your wives are really wondering how in the dickens they ever got through this war. You've heard all the stories that they fellows have told, but I want to tell you that most of the stories they're talking about was a little incidental R&R that they had aboard ship and they didn't necessarily have on the schedule. But what a great job they did, every single one of them, getting us through this. I wanted to set the record straight about Willie Knox. If you read the newsletter that John sent out last, it seems that they mentioned that Willie was off of the deck and we were in the convoy, and Willie thought that, well, we'll go and visit the next column for a while. So we did. But I do want you to know that Willie redeemed himself, because when we came back from Europe into New York, he was one of the officers of the deck as we steamed back, and we got a message from the division commander telling us what a great job we did in keeping in line, because we had breakdowns a couple of times in the engines, and we'd have to get out of the column and then we'd come back in. And I want you to know that Willie Knox was one of the officers of the deck that should have hit that. Congratulations. And as far as Bob Newbow is concerned, he did even though he really started out by getting his first fix in the middle of Florida, he did get us across the North Atlantic. He got us down the Irish Sea in the fog. He got us into England, and back and forth to Normandy, down in southern France, down in Africa, and Italy, and finally back home. So he did a real good job in the navigation department. I want to congratulate him. Thank you. And with, as with Joe and Willie, I want to thank John Hyle for the great job that he did. And I'm sure that Rita had a lot to do with it too. Thank you very much.
Now, anybody who's heard this, you're going to hear it again. I'd like to introduce Richard Brown, who was born in the United States and raised in the South. Richard has a BS degree from Troy State University in Alabama, a master's degree from the University of Southern Mississippi, and Florida State University. His two brothers and two sisters all graduated cum laude. Richard graduated, thank you, Lord. He has been an administrator and coach in college and high school. He has been named Coach of the Year in high school, football, basketball, and track in 2 states, Alabama and Florida. Coach of the Year in Florida and Alabama junior college basketball. He may be the world's winningest coach, if not 736 wins and 247 losses. Ain't bad. He is a member of the National Speakers Association and a member of the Board of Directors and past president of the Alabama Speakers Association. Richard is a Southern Baptist Sunday school teacher, a patriot, a dedicated father, and an American. And he's a hell of a good speaker.
Thank you, John. Once again, I bring you greetings from my wife's happy husband. Made that decision this morning when I got up. And I've dropped my speech already. I got up singing this morning. I wasn't singing because I was happy. I was happy because I was singing. Now, it works that way. It really does. John, that's an awfully good introduction there. At least it's the most recent introduction I've had. Now, y'all gonna be with me tonight? You can laugh, you know, it'll be all right. John told me when he was talking about my speaking for a few minutes, he said some of them had heard you. Those that haven't will be looking forward to hearing. He said, after hearing you last year, they don't expect me to get much, so I wanted to speak again. I said, okay, John, how long would you like for me to speak? He said, well, you realize that biblical history says that Samson killed 10,000 men with the jawbone of an ass. And many men have talked themselves out of public favor and better position with that same weapon. So you do whatever you want to do. So with that in mind, I will give my speech, the length of it, to that. By the way, let me tell you that there is no evidence that indicates that the tongue is connected to the brain. I'm still a country boy. Mama told me, she said, I don't think you'll have to tell them that. They're a pretty sharp group, they'll pick up on that. And my parents were poor and proud, just like I told you last year. After I was born, they were just poor. You know, you can tell a country boy. Mama tore her best dress coon hunting. How many of you know what turning your chickens mean? Any country people in here? No country boys? The chickens used to roost on the eaves of the house when I grew up. And Mama would put tubs under the eaves to catch the rainwater to wash with, so we wouldn't have to draw it from the well. And if it came a rain, particularly at night when the chickens had gone to roost, my job was to go out and turn them around. You know, we so poor down there where I come from, the creek only runs once a week. Standing out in the chicken yard one day and overheard two old hens talking, and one of them said, here comes the cross-eyed rooster. If we don't split up, he's going to miss both of them. I told you about our outhouse last time I spoke. Same old outhouse. One morning I was going off to school, and I was feeling frisky. The outhouse sat right on the bank of the bayou there. So I just pushed the outhouse over in the bayou. You know how it was. Well, I got home that afternoon, and my dad said, Richard, did you push the outhouse in the bayou? I said, Dad, I'm just like George Washington. I can't tell a lie, I did. He took his belt off and said, well, come on, you're going to get a whip. I said, but wait a minute. George told his father that he cut down the cherry tree, and he didn't get a whip. He said, I know, son, but George's father wasn't in the cherry tree. We had some interesting things happen, though. You know, I like Yankees because you fellas took care of me. I was 16 years old and dumb as dirt, hadn't gotten a lot better. And really didn't know any better. Somebody alluded to that somebody looked out for us. But I do appreciate the fact that you people did look out for me. Because I would not have gotten back here. By the way, I believe the captain left one of our deceased members out, John Fitter. The reason, did you say John Fitter? Well, John particularly took me under his wing. Now, most of you fellows that were old salt, see, I came aboard in Norfolk on the way to the Pacific. Most of you fellas that have been over there playing war and making war, you see, wouldn't have a lot to do with us little peons. But John Fitter did, and he took me under his wing. And bless him for that, and bless the rest of us for looking out for me. But we had some interesting things happen in the country. One day, we had a calf being born, and it was breeched, Judge. And I had one leg, and my son had another leg, and we were pulling with all our might. And we wasn't having any success. Well, a Yankee came along from New York. And he said, I say, could I give you a hand? I said, certainly. He grabbed the tail. And all three of us really were putting everything we had, and out came the cat. The Yankee said, I said to him, could I pay you for your help? He said, no, but would you answer one question for me? How fast was that cat running when he went in there? Really, Yankees aren't like dogs. You know, I told you last time that one of my greatest accomplishments was I was the vice president of the 8th grade class at Beatrice School. 2 years. Mama predicted that I was going to become president. But Reagan and Eisenhower and a lot of fellows beat me out there. I did, however, graduate from college in 2 terms. Truman and Eisenhower. You know, you are a beautiful group, really. And I want to commend you on that, and I want to share a stat with you. Did you realize that 1 out of 3 people in this country are beautiful people? Look at the one on your right and the one on your left, and if that ain't either one of them, congratulations. I want to recognize my dear wife over there. Before I got married, I said, when I get married, I will be the boss, or you'll know the reason why. Now, the reason why is sitting right over there. But I'm going to share some stats with you. I know that most of you have been married quite some time. But I can share a stat with you, a philosophy of marriage that'll work. I don't try to tell her how to run her life. And I don't try to tell her how to run my life. She told me one time, she said, I must have been a fool when I married you. I said, honey, you may have been, but I was so infatuated at the time I didn't know it. Speaking of growing up in the country, we had a couple of fellows that didn't get to go to town too often. They drove the mule wagon to town one day, and the druggists saw them coming. And they went in the store, and they said, we would like to have something that would make us a little bit younger. So the druggist thought, well, here's my chance. He sold them a tremendous supply of X-Lax. So they started home, and they started eating the X-Lax. And they were bumping along in the mule, in the wagon, rather. And after a while, one of them said, Joe, are you feeling any younger? He said, no, but I've just done a childish thing. That's sort of a slow burner now. If that's going over your head, let me know. I'll get it down. You know, we had a little dog out there on the farm that we called Mutt Dog. Mutt was several different breeds. He was about 1.5 dogs long and about 1/2 dog high, if you know the kind I'm talking about. Well, one day, we ran over Mutt with a harrow, cut all 4 legs off. We rushed her to the vet, and he taken up the nub, and he said, I don't see any problem with the living, but she's going to demand an awful lot of care. Well, we took her back home, and we would haul her around in the wheelbarrow. That's Yankee talk, it's wheelbarrow, isn't it? We'd haul her around the wheelbarrow, and she'd bark, you know, and have a good time. And I had a friend that visited one day, one of our fellow speakers, big guy, Ralph Hood, and Ralph is a sympathetic sort of fellow, and he said, that is really interesting. He said, what does she do for any recreation at all? And I said, yes, she likes to ride in the wheelbarrow. He said, I wonder if I could take her for a ride. I said, sure. So off he goes with Mutt. She's sitting up in the wheelbarrow looking out, and he's gone, and he's gone, and he's gone. And I said, what in the world happened to Ralph? A few minutes more, he came back, and he just had the cuffs left on his sleeve here, and his pants were torn, and he was scratched all over. And I said, Ralph, what in the world happened? He said, Mutt jumped a rabbit.
Jumped a rabbit.
Now that really is a slow burn. We have a lot of interesting things happen down there in Evergreen, though, even though we're a small town. Barnum and Bailey were coming through town one day, and one of the old elephants got away. They chased that elephant, they couldn't catch the elephant. So they just let the elephant go. Miss Bessie Cook was standing at her kitchen, peeling her potatoes, and she looked out in the garden, and there's this big elephant. She ran to the telephone and said, Sheriff Booker, you better get out here quick. He said, what's the matter, Miss Bessie? Said, there's the darndest looking animal in my garden I have ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. He said, well, now, take it easy, Miss Bessie. What is he doing? Said, he's in my garden pulling up my turnips with his tail. He said, Miss Bessie, take it easy. Now, I said, what is he doing with it? She said, Lord God, son, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Mac Prim is one of my good friends, and Mac likes to hunt, fish, and drink. I don't know which order. One day I was fishing with Mac, and he was sitting on this end of the boat, and he was catching fish, one right after the other, and I was sitting on the other end naturally, and I wasn't catching a thing. And I said, Mac, what are you using for bait? He said, I'm using minnows. I said, well, I am too. I said, what? Anything else? He said, yeah, I've poured a shot of whiskey in mine. He said, do you want a shot in your minnows? I said, yeah, I'll try it. So we put a shot of whiskey in my minnows, and they were jumping around there having a good time, and I put one on and threw him out there, and sure enough, came out with a 5-pound bass. That meant I had him right by the throat. Same day we were there, here came a snake along, and had a frog in his mouth. Mac's a good-hearted old thing, and he felt sorry for the frog, and he reached down and took the frog away from the snake. Well, he sat there a little bit, and he thought about that, being as good-hearted as he is. He said, I really shouldn't have done that. So he caught the old snake and poured him a drink down. A few minutes, the snake was back with 2 frogs. Mac came in one night, drunk, inebriated. Joyce was asleep, his wife, and he had a cuckoo clock. And he was tipping in, and the cuckoo clock went off. And he's a pretty quick thinker, even if he's drinking. So he said to himself, if I'll pick up on that cuckoo, it was 3 o'clock, it cuckoo 3 times. He said, if I pick up on this and cuckoo 9 more times, Joyce will think it's 12 o'clock. So he did, and the next morning, George said, Mac, said, you got to do something about that old cuckoo clock. Said, what's the matter? She said, it cuckooed 6 times last night. Said, damn it, and cuckooed 6 more times. Brother Pat Sykes, he's flipping out now, I'm going to tell this on him. He was reading Playboy magazine one day, and his dear wife said, I'm ashamed of you. Why in the world are you reading Playboy magazine? And you a grandfather? He said, well, I'm looking at the names and faces of pretty places I ain't never going to visit. I messed that up. It's supposed to be like a National Geographic. That's what he told us was. This drunk got on the bus, and the sister got on behind him, and there was only one seat left, and that was the one right by him. And he's sitting there, nasty and smell bad. She didn't really want to sit by him, had no option. So he's sitting there pretending to be reading the paper. After a while, he said, sister, so what caused the arthritis? She thought, well, now's my chance. She said, I can tell you what caused the arthritis. Said, it's running around with wild women and drinking and smoking and carrying on. Why? Have you got it? He said, no, I see here where the Pope's been laid up with. Bob Murphy is one of our speakers from Texas. You may know him, Judge.
Oh, just like you.
Bob was speaking in a small town in Texas some time ago, and after his speech was over, it was late, and he checked into the only hotel that they had. One of those high-rises they have in Texas, you know, 2-story. And he checks in, and he gets up to his room, and he decided that he'd watch television. But he didn't have television. So he decided he'd call down there and tell him, but he didn't have a telephone. So he thought he'd go down and complain about it, and it didn't have an elevator either. So he went down the stairs. And he said, say, said, I don't have a television in my room. He said, we don't believe in television. He said, well, I don't have a telephone either. He said, we don't believe in telephones either. He said, well, where's your cigarette machine? He said, we really don't believe in smoking cigarettes. We don't have them. He said, well, where's the bar? He said, I'll go have a drink. He said, we really don't believe in drinking. He said, buddy, what do you believe in? He said, we believe in the second coming of Christ. He said, I can tell you one thing. If he's been here before, he ain't coming back. You know, this is a big, nice hotel here. I've been looking for my room ever since I got here. I can tell you one thing, they have some tremendously thick, fluffy suitcase, towels here. And you can't get them all in your suitcase. I had a drunk came along last night and he knocked on my door. And I went to the door and he said, is this my room? I said, no, this is not your room. Okay. Few minutes. I go back to the door. He said, is this my room? I said, no, this is not your room. Okay. Few minutes. I go back the third time. He said, is this my room? I said, no, I told you this is not your room. This is my room. He said, damn, you got to have a room in the hotel. Clerk down there, an old guy came in inebriated, and he said, I want to use your bathroom. said, okay, right back there. He goes back down. Oh! Oh! The guy ran around there and he said, what's the problem? He said, every time I flush this thing, said it grabs me. He said, that's a mop bucket. We got on the airplane in Pensacola yesterday morning, and this guy comes on the plane that looked like he'd been weaned on a pickle, you know, no drought. He has his own cloud around with him. And he sat down, and here comes a little country boy, South Alabama, about like me. Hey, all the everybody that came on. He sat down by me. And the little stewardess said, could I get you something to drink? The old country boy said, yeah, I'll take a drink. And she asked the old guy, said, how about you? Would you have? He said, no, I don't want a drink. But she came back and gave the old country boy a drink. And she thought she'd ask the old guy. She said, you sure you wouldn't have a drink? He said, I'd rather commit adultery. The old country boy gave his drink back. He said, I didn't know you had a choice. Just before we landed in Cincinnati, the little stewardess came up there with an old man sitting by himself, and she said, sir, I really hate to tell you this, but we have left your wife in Pensacola. He said, thank God. I thought I had gone deaf. You know, somebody asked Bill Davis, said, Bill, do you have any problem with losing your hair like that? Said, you had any problem with that? He said, no, not really. He said, you know, the good Lord gave everybody a certain amount of hormones. If y'all want to use your growing hair, that's your business. I want to tell you that age is a high price to pay for material. I realize that. Because your anatomy either falls out, falls apart, or falls down. It ain't going north, it's going south. But you know, there's hope for all of us old folks. I told the group that was here last year, I think this, but my memory's kind of bad too. I can't remember everything I didn't tell, I did tell. But this 82-year-old lady went to the doctor for a checkup. The doctor came out, he said, you know, Mayor, he said, I got bad news. He said, you expect it? He said, no, doctor. No, he said, I'm 82 and my husband's 90. He said, nonetheless, you are pregnant. She said, my husband is 90 years old. He said, well, when you tell him, you better let him down easy. She said, let me borrow your phone. She dialed the number and said, you old goat, you got me pregnant. He said, who is it? I decided in my retirement that I either had stayed here too long or I didn't put up enough. So I'm now in the speaking business. And Mama already said that she had too much husband and too little money in retirement. And I found it impossible to support the government and a family on my salary. So I decided I'd go back to work and try to do the best I could. Let me get a little bit serious. What you mean? Question, who are you? I know who you are. You see, you're the direct result of your choice. You have chosen to be who you are. You see, you choose to be happy, as I said earlier, or you choose to be an old grouch. You choose to be the number one granddad, number one grandmother, or husband, or wife, whichever. That's your choice. Because choice, folks, is one of our greatest talents. The next thing, are you utilizing your talent? You see, the average human body has 1 octillion atom. And that's what we're up to how. If you have a problem with that octillion, as I did, Gus, put down a 1 and 27 zeros. Now that's a lot of power. So I wonder if you utilize all of your power. Little boy and girl sitting on the park bench. Little boy said, "Man, if I had 1,000 eyes, I'd use every one of them." Look at each other pretty fast. And if I had 1,000 feet, I'd use every one of them just walking the way you are. And if I had 1,000 arms, I'd use every one of them just hugging your sweet neck. She said, "Hush, Joe, you ain't using what you have got." Well, I doubt seriously if we're using the talent, I'm going to be the best you ever had. I didn't know who Fred was. I said, "Sit down, Fred, and let's talk about it." He said, "I just enrolled here in today, and I'll be back in September, and I'm going to be the best manager you ever had." So we talked about it, and we agreed. Fred told me, he said, "I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, Revolt High School." Fred went on back to Jacksonville, and in about a week I got a phone call. Said, "Fred Gibbons, coach, said, I'm working out, I'm getting in shape. We're going to get them, we're going to win." And I said, "That's fine, Fred." And I hung up the phone. And I told Mama, I said, "You suppose Fred thought that he would play basketball?" You see, Fred had a little leg, just about that big. He wore an iron brace from his foot to his hip. He had been a very promising football player, I understand, and was stricken with polio in the 10th grade. And I could see how he could have been a great prospect, because he had a tremendous upper body, 46-inch chest, tremendous arms and hands. Fred came to North Florida, and he would get on the basket when we came out to warm up. And he'd get that group so high that we couldn't come back down to after we won. Gary Colson from Valdosta State 4-year school saw Fred. And how many people see the manager on the TV? But Gary saw Fred, and he said, "Coach," at the coaching clinic, this was in Fred's second year, he would leave us. He said, "Could I have permission to talk to Fred?" And I said, "Sure." He talked to Fred. Fred went to Valdosta State. I saw Gary at a clinic the next season, the end of the next season. I said, "Gary, how did Fred do?" He said, "He did great, Coach." He said, "He won about 6 or 8 games for us." I said, "Yeah, that's right. He won about 6 or 8 for us each season, too." You see, Fred turned his adversity into success. Fred went on to Pepperdine University out in California with Gary Colson. The last time I saw him, which has been many years ago, he told me that Fred married a beautiful girl out there, was a trainer out there at Pepperdine University. So you see, he turned his adversity into success. And I wonder if we do that. I wonder if we do enough of that. You see, adversity is a challenge that makes life worthwhile. Keeps it from being boring. I want to wind this down. There's something that concerns me greatly. The things that you fellows fought for in Normandy and southern France. The rest of us went to the Pacific, and thousands went everywhere else for freedom. But I'm concerned about whether or not we are the greatest granddad in the world. But when we have young men like Michael Fay that goes to Singapore, and by the way, I have a daughter that's in Singapore now. She's on a useful mission. They made 2 trips to Russia. Goodness knows where. And this young man goes over there and he said, I'm going to show them how we have fun in America. So he spray paints cars. Then our illustrious president pleads for clemency. Now folks, we are the most crime-ridden nation in the world today. And we're trying to tell Singapore how to administer their punishment. Now that's something for us to think about. Magic Johnson he wanted to go to Indonesia. Indonesia said, no, we will not give you a passport. Because they call you magic over there, but we call it problems over here. Wonder if these people know something we don't know. Then along comes Michael Jackson. He buys his way out of child molestation. And I understand that they made $1 million portrait of him just recently. Who are our heroes? Who are the heroes for our grandchildren? Who's going to do something about it if you think it's a problem? I don't think it's the fans of Michael Jackson. So it must be those that have gone and fought for the freedom that this nation. Let me tell one other story. I wasn't going to tell this. Young man was walking down the hall of a small high school in the state of Alabama in 1942. 230-pound tackle, but good one. Hero of the campus. He dropped his billfold and a condom fell out. The principal took him to the office, gave him a good caning pattern, suspended him for 3 days from school, made his parents come back with him and apologize to him and to the school and assure him that he would not conduct himself in that manner ever again. Now this is one of the heroes in football. The man that was the principal had 2 fingers off on one hand that he had lost in World War I. This same young man that he had disciplined graduated on Friday, joined the Marines on Monday, and came back in a box a few months later. You see, he paid a tremendous price so that we could have the kind of school today that he had. I wonder if we are doing our part. I wonder if the old farmer says we have laid back, because you and I are the ones that know the situation. Let me end with this point, and I want to tell you that I do appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, and I appreciate the fact that folks did look out for me for about 1.5 years on the 494. I think this tells you what we could do. An old man going along the highway came in the evening, cold and gray, to a cabin bastion deep and wide, through which was flowing the southern tide. The old man crossed in a twilight. That swollen stream held no fears from him. He turned when safe on the other side, and he built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim, did. You waste in your strength to build it here. Your journey will end with the ending day and never again unless you pass this way. You've crossed this chasm deep and wide. Why build you this bridge at the evening tide? You build to lift this old gray head. Good friend, in the path I've come, he said, therefore after me today, for you who keep pass this way. This flowing stream that was not to me, to that fair-haired youth made a pitfall. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him. I challenge you. You have built great bridges. I challenge you to continue to build great bridges for our children and grandchildren. And you're a great group, and I appreciate being with you. Thank you. Good. You wanted me to announce that you want to make group pictures as soon as this meeting is over. So stick around for that. And let me say this, if you have a Chamber of Commerce or any group that you would like to have a speaker, if you get a card and give me a call sometime, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I guess we adjourn.
That's true or not. I was down in the engine when I spent most of my time down there. But the story somehow trickled down from what I heard that when we were going to Marseille independently on our first cruise there, first trip to Marseille, that there was some debate because we didn't have up-to-date charts about what pier we were supposed to go to. And that you would ask if any, there was a fishing boat out there, French fishing boat, and you would ask if there was anybody on board who could speak French. And somebody said, come up with the idea there was a young man down below we called Frenchie. And you send a messenger down for Frenchie, and Frenchie can run up there and he said, Captain, you sent for me? And you said, yes. I would like you to ask the fishing boat what the direction to the pier is. And you gave him the megaphone. And the little Frenchie, which he couldn't speak French at all, he said, ahoy, see, in the boat, see, which way to the pier? Is that true or not?
Say that again.
Is that true, Mr. Newbar?
It sounds like a story to me.
I wanted to
good story, though.
Well, John, I'll tell you what. We appreciate everything you did for us. I do anyway, in coming here. A little token of my appreciation for what you did.
Oh, boy, that's neat. 494. I just have a couple more things to say. I'd like to thank, besides people who've been to all the other reunions, I want to welcome all the newcomers. And that includes Betty and Bob Newbar, and Robert Millick and Mary, even though we saw you in Pittsburgh, Gus Stables, and we got Bertha and Stan Robbins, and Leslie and Bill Davis. And we welcome you here and hope you come. Oh yeah, Dick and Claudia. See you way out in California. I can't even see you. Dick and Claudia Harmon. Oh, yeah. Can't forget Bill. Can't forget Bill. And of course, we've never seen Della Grace before, although we've seen Joe. Seen too much of Joe. But thanks for coming, everyone.
Can I say just one more thing?
Sure.
Two or three. Peter telling us that we need to make decisions in the future. I'd like to talk to all three young men now and just let you know that you're going to have a big decision to make with the later. About 9. There's a man that I know who had his 90th birthday, and he decided that he'd get a nice luxe hotel room and take it to the rest. Some of his buddies decided that they would help him out a little bit, so they hired nice young girls that go out and spend a little time with him. And she knocked on the door and came in. So what are you doing here? She said, you want super sex? He thought for a minute and he said, I think I'll take the soup.
I know everybody's welcomed you, Clara, but I really appreciate your coming. Really. And we're really
I was just so grateful to Jay and Rita for asking me to come along. And I was very curious, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when I received a postcard addressed to Mrs. Sykes at my mother-in-law's old residence, and she died 6 months after Sykes. So it just so happened that this woman bought her house, and my daughter was an attorney, closed the deal, so she remembered the name and sent it to me. And then I received a notice about some of your reunions, and one was in Norfolk, and if I knew anybody, and I put Jay's name down, and Tom Reedy, who was from Cincinnati, but I don't believe was on your ship for too long. And Tom died in December. So I was very, very excited and thrilled to be a part of it, because as we've sat around this room and you've mentioned names, they all come back. I mean, I can remember the letters inside would write and the different stories he would tell. And it's just been a great pleasure to be here. And I just really want to say thank you for the great job that you did. And it brings to mind this weekend especially, which is the 50th anniversary of the invasion. And I think it's been a wonderful, wonderful thing to look back and realize that this whole thing really took place in spite of so many odds. And I think you all have been very blessed to be here. And I just appreciate being here too. Thank you.
Rita wants to take pictures of the men, I think in 2 groups, right?
Yes.
And she is going to have this put onto a shirt, t-shirt like this, and sent to Art Field, because he's going to be here. So we'll have to get all the men, you know. I think there's only room.
I'll take a look later on all the men.
Yeah.
2 groups of them.
2 different groups.
Because it's 2 men in one group.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Wait till the next one, Bob. Hey, did you wait till the next one?
Hey, you got some more over there. It's not in.
We're ready.
That's better. Okay.
Okay.
Hold it just a minute. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
This is the intelligent part.
No, but it's 36 exposure.
Oh, no.
Yeah, wait a minute, take the lens cap off.
Okay.
You got a lens
Hey, Catherine. Catherine.
Catherine.
That is
you show more knees than that. Now. Where's all those knees at?
I gotta lean again. Okay, we're all done now?
My hands is here, my hands is here.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Don't tell me